What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share about my experiences owning a rear-wheel drive car in a really cold country, particularly my new C63s in Canada, which we all know is a pretty cold country in the winter time. So is it practical? Is it doable? And what are my experiences thus far? So far I've owned this car about 6 months, and I bought it in the summer, late summer, and now we're in the winter time. It's been a particularly mild winter, so I've been able to drive it all but 2 or 3 days when the snow was really crazy on the roads. I've been able to drive it. Even today, as you may be able to see behind me, there's piles of snow. It's pretty cold. It's showing me -5 degrees centigrade, which I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, but it's below 32 Fahrenheit. That's what I know for sure. And so far, I've been really surprised with owning this car, because back in the day, I'm not sure if you guys remember watching Top Gear and hearing Jeremy Clarkson talk about how much of a killer the C63 was in terms of just its sliding and being a handful. And before I bought this car, I was thinking, should I buy it? Should I buy a winter beater? You know, given the money constraints and also space constraints. I don't know. Everybody might not have extra parking spaces in their garage. They might not want to pay for maintenance on 2 cars, insurance on 2 cars. So I was very hesitant to buy this car because of that reason, because Canada, as we all know, is a very cold country, and you know, we get a lot of snow here, and a rear-wheel drive, particularly a 2-door coupe like mine, it's not super practical to begin with, and then when it comes to the snow, it becomes even less practical. So I was very hesitant to buy it, because my impression of the C63 was that it's a real big handful, and outside of really good conditions, dry conditions, it's kind of undrivable. Well, long story short, I was completely wrong. If you are thinking about buying a C63s and you're worried about the snow or having to buy a different car, that would be not a problem at all. I don't know what it's like for the W204 generation. I've never owned one of those. This is a 2018 W205 generation 2-door coupe, and believe it or not, I'm kind of ashamed to say this, I'm actually on summer tires right now. Like, I have a set of winters, I just never got around to installing them because we've had kind of a mild winter so far in Canada, and you know, I'm lucky that I had another vehicle at home for the 1 or 2 days that it snowed heavily on the road. But as soon as the road doesn't have massive piles of snow on it, you know, within a day the snow plows clear it. No matter how cold it's gotten down to -20. I've never had an issue driving this car. I'm on, like I said, I'm on summer tires. Temperature's pretty cold, and I'm pushing this bad boy. Now, I don't recommend that. You know, just don't take my laziness and my stupidity as a you know, endorsement of driving a rear-wheel drive car with summer tires on in the cold. I do plan on putting the winters on sooner or later, but I just never got around to doing it, and I guess the laziness has so far not caused me any issue. Surprisingly, the traction control system in this C63, the W205 particularly, is incredible. As long as you have the traction control on, the system doesn't let you ever get too out of line. Obviously, if you're in race mode or sport plus mode and you're really pushing it, if the roads are wet, you're gonna slip. I mean, you're gonna slip with most cars that have a lot of power, so it's not even just about the rear-wheel drive. But if you have either all seasons, winters, for sure you're good. You're good. Even on the snowiest of days, you should be able to drive this car with no issues at all. If you plan on buying a car like this and you plan on putting winter tires on it, outside of the ground clearance for the coupes, which are a little bit low and sometimes the snow will scrape the bottom of it, outside of that, there is no issues, from my opinion, driving it around in like cities and stuff. Now, if you live in the countryside and there's no snow plows and your snow is really, really, really big, you know, that, like, it's not practical. You need a SUV just from a ground clearance and, you know, four-wheel drive place. I would also be hesitant if you live in like a really hilly environment. If you have a very steep incline where you live, or, you know, some people's driveways are really, really high inclines. They go up an incline to get to their houses. Those individuals, I probably wouldn't recommend this car to. So people living in rural environments, or people who are in very, you know, steep hilly environments, probably not the best idea, simply because rear wheel drive, it's not ideal, especially when you got this much power. Outside of that, for most people, you know, in most cities in North America, including, you know, in Canada, most cities in Canada, if you plan on putting a good set of tires on, the traction control system in this car is incredible. It's honestly, I've never had an issue. I've never felt unsafe, and it's kind of surprising how good it is. We'll have to see. I haven't put on my winter tires yet, but I would be curious to put my winter tires on and take it out to a more rural area, and just to see where the limits of the grip are. But like I said, right now we are in Canada in the cold, driving on summer tires. Now granted, the road is dry, it's been cleared out, there's no wet spots, so there's no issues at all. But 99.9% of the time, you're gonna be able to drive this car, even in the winter. So if you're thinking about buying this car and you're worried about whether or not you need another car for the winter or to daily it, I wouldn't, that wouldn't be the issue here. So, like I said, long story short, go ahead, enjoy, buy yourself a rear wheel drive car, be safe out there, obviously, drive with caution, but have fun. You know, cars are a passion for most of us, and, you know, life is too short to be driving around in really boring, kind of crappy cars, especially for half the year. Have fun with it, be safe, and thank you for making it this far into the video. I'm a new YouTuber, so if you can like and subscribe, that would really help grow the channel. I have another M4 at home, so I'd love to make more content based on the 63 and the M4, comparing and contrasting it. So lots of those videos coming up. Thank you once again for being with me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.